Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Bandhu cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Devate. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, dear friends. Welcome to the day 3 of International Gita Festival. Bestest ever Gita Festival. We are back with lots of fun and entertainment. We have so much to share with you. So are you ready? So fasten your seatbelts.
Radhe Radhe everyone. Radhe Radhe Nidhi ji. So good to see everybody back here again. We welcome you all again today for a power-packed session comprising of recitation and reading from the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Nidhi ji, are you learning or no?
Oh yes, I am. I was so bad in it, but this is really helping me focus my attention. So yes. Kavita.
So we will again today, like the last few sessions, we will again have some fun facts from Gita and some trivia questions that will blow your mind away. Not only that, today's treat for us will be special talk by Pritha on the topic of the art of mind management from Gita. And Nidhi ji, this topic, Swamiji's, this has been a huge hit among YouTubers, as well as whenever there are discourses on this topic, you will always see the hall full. And I remember Swamiji says that mind by itself can make a heaven out of hell and hell out of heaven. Have you ever experienced?
Very true, Kavita. This is one thing which had attracted me to the discourses of Swamiji. I really wanted to find out, how we can apply and purify our mind. So definitely it is one of the great topics and I'm looking forward to listen to it.
I agree. So now let's focus and listen attentively to the recitation and reading.
भगवानुवाच अनाश्रितः कर्म फलम् कार्यं कर्म करोति यः स सन्न्यासी च योगी च न निरग्निर्न चाक्रियः यं सन्न्यासमिति प्राहुः योगं तं विद्धि पाण्डव न ह्यसन्न्यस्तसङ्कल्पः योगी भवति कश्चन आरुरुक्षोर्मुनेर्योगं कर्म कारणमुच्यते योगारूढस्य तस्यैव शमः कारणमुच्यते यदा हिनेन्द्रियार्थेषु न कर्मस्वनुषज्यते सर्वसङ्कल्पसन्न्यासी योगारूढस्तदोच्यते उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मानमवसादयेत् आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत् जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः ज्ञानविज्ञानतृप्तात्मा कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः सुहृन्मित्रायुदासीन मध्यस्थद्वेषबन्धुषु साधुष्वपि च पापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते योगी युञ्जीत सततम् आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः एकाकीयत चित्तात्मा निराशीर परिग्रहः शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य स्थिरमासनमात्मनः नात्युच्छ्रितं नातिनीचं चैलाजिनकुशोत्तरं तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा यतचित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः उपविश्यासने युञ्जात् योगमात्मविशुद्धये समं कायशिरो ग्रीवं धारयन्नचलं स्थिरः संप्रेक्ष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वं दिशश्चानवलोकयन् प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभिः ब्रह्मचारि व्रते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तः युक्त आसीत मत्परः युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी नियतमानसः शान्तिं निर्वाण परमां मत्संस्थात्मधिगच्छति नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तमनश्नतः न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन युक्ताहारविहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नवबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः यदा विनियतं चित्तम् आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा यथा दीपो निवातस्तः नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः यत्रो परमते चित्तं निरुद्धं योगसेवया यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति सुखमात्यन्तिकं यत्तद् बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियं वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायं स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं मन्यते नाधिकं ततः यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचाल्यते तं विद्या दुःखसंयोग वियोगं योगसंज्ञितं स निश्चयेन योक्तव्यः योगो निर्विण्णचेतसा संकल्पप्रभवान् कामान् त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् शेषतः मनसैवेन्द्रियग्रामं विनियम्य समन्ततः शनैरुपरमेत् बुद्ध्या धृतिः गृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत् शनैरुपरमेत् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत् यतो निश्चरति मनश्चञ्चलमस्थिरं ततस्ततो नयम्यैतद् आत्मन्येव वशं नयेत् प्रशान्तमनसं ह्येनं योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम् उपैति शान्तरजसं ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषं युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः अर्जुन उवाच योऽयं योगस्त्वया प्रोक्तः साम्येन मधुसूदन एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलत्वा स्थितिं स्थिरां चञ्चलं हि मनः कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवदृढं तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करं श्रीभगवानुवाच असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येन च गृह्यते असंयतात्मना योगः दुष्प्राप इति मे मतिः वश्यात्मना तु यतता शक्यो वाप्तुमुपायतः। अर्जुन उवाच अयति श्रद्धयोपेतः योगाचलितमानसः अप्राप्य योगसंसिद्धिं कां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति। कच्चिन्नो भयविभ्रष्टः छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति। अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढो ब्रह्मणः पतिः। एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण चेतुमर्हस्य शेषतः। त्वदन्य संशयस्यास्य चेता न ह्युपपद्यते। भगवानुवाच पात नैवेह नामुत्र विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते। न हि कल्याणकृत् कश्चित् दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति। प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान् उषित्वा शाश्वती समाः। शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टोऽभिजायते। अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमताम्। एतद्धि दुर्लभतरं लोके जन्म यदीदृशं। तत्र तं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते पौर्वदेहिकं। यतते च ततो भूयः संसिद्धौ कुरु नन्दन। पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव क्रियते ह्यवशोऽपि सः। जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते। प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः। अनेकजन्म संसिद्धः ततो याति परां गतिं। तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मदोऽधिकः। कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्माद् योगी भवार्जुन। योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेतान्तरात्मना। श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः। ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे आत्मसंयमयोगो नाम षष्ठोऽध्यायः।
Chapter 6 Dhyan Yoga, the Yoga of Meditation. The Supreme Lord said, those who perform prescribed duties without desiring the results of their actions are actual sannyasis and yogis, and not those who have merely ceased performing sacrifices such as Agnihotra Yagna or abandoned bodily activities. What is known as sannyas is not different from yoga, for none become yogis without renouncing worldly desires. To the soul who is aspiring for perfection in yoga, work without attachment is said to be the means. To the sage who is already elevated in yoga, tranquility in meditation is said to be the means. When one is neither attached to sense objects nor to actions, that person is said to be elevated in the science of yoga, for having renounced all desires for the fruits of actions. Elevate yourself through the power of your mind and not degrade yourself, for the mind can be friend and also the enemy of the self. For those who have conquered the mind, it is their friend. For those who have failed to do so, the mind works like an enemy. The yogis who have conquered the mind rise above the dualities of cold and heat, joy and sorrow, honor and dishonor. Such yogis remain peaceful and steadfast in their devotion to God. The yogi who are satisfied by knowledge and discrimination and have conquered their senses remain undisturbed in all circumstances. They see everything, dirt, stones, and gold, as the same. The yogis look upon all well-wishers, friends, foes, the pious and the sinners with an impartial intellect. The yogi who is of equal intellect toward friend, companion and foe, neutral among enemies and relatives, and impartial between the righteous and sinful, is considered to be distinguished among humans. Those who seek the state of yoga should reside in seclusion, constantly engaged in meditation with a controlled mind and body, getting rid of desires and possessions for enjoyment. To practice yoga, one should make an asana in a sanctified place by placing kush grass, deerskin, and a cloth one over the other. The asana should be neither too high nor too low. Seated firmly on it, the yogi should strive to purify the mind by focusing it in meditation with one pointed concentration, controlling all thoughts and activities. He must hold the body, neck, and head firmly in a straight line and gaze at the tip of the nose without allowing the eyes to wander. Thus, with a serene, fearless, and unwavering mind, and staunch in the vow of celibacy, the vigilant yogi should meditate on me, having me alone as the supreme goal. Thus, constantly keeping the mind absorbed in me, the yogi of disciplined mind attains nirvana and abides in me in supreme peace.
O Arjun, those who eat too much or eat too little, sleep too much or too little, cannot attain success in yoga. But those who are temperate in eating and recreation, balanced in work, and regulated in sleep can mitigate all sorrows by practicing yoga. With thorough discipline, they learn to withdraw the mind from selfish cravings and rivet it on the unsurpassable good of the self. Such persons are said to be in yoga and are free from all yearning of the senses. Just as a lamp in a windless place does not flicker, so the disciplined mind of a yogi remains steady in meditation on the self. When the mind, restrained from material activities, becomes still by the practice of yoga, then the yogi is able to behold the soul through the purified mind, and he rejoices in the inner joy. In that joyous state of yoga called samadhi, one experiences supreme boundless divine bliss, and thus situated, one never deviates from the eternal truth. Having gained that state, one does not consider any attainment to be greater. Being thus established, one is not shaken even in the midst of the greatest calamity. The state of severance from union with misery is known as yoga. This yoga should be resolutely practiced and determination free from pessimism. Completely renouncing all desires arising from the thoughts of the world, one should restrain the senses from all sides with the mind, slowly and steadily, with the conviction in the intellect. The mind will become fixed in God alone and will think of nothing else. Whenever and wherever the restless and unsteady mind wanders, one should bring it back and continually focus it on God. Great transcendental happiness comes to the yogi whose mind is calm, whose passions are subdued, who is without sin, and who sees everything in connection with God. The self-controlled yogi, thus uniting the self with God, becomes free from material contamination and being in constant touch with the Supreme, achieves the highest state of perfect happiness. The true yogi, uniting their consciousness with God, see with equal eye all living beings in God and God in all living beings. For those who see me everywhere and see all things in me, I am never lost, nor are they ever lost to me.
The yogi who is established in union with me and worships me as the Supreme Soul residing in all beings dwells only in me, though engaged in all kinds of activities. I regard them to be perfect yogis who see the true equality of all living beings and respond to the joys and sorrows of others as if they were their own. Arjun said, "The system of yoga that you have described, O Madhusudan, appears impractical and unattainable to me due to the restless mind." The mind is very restless, turbulent, strong, and obstinate, O Krishna. It appears to me that it is more difficult to control than the wind. Lord Krishna said, "O mighty arm, son of Kunti, what you say is correct. The mind is indeed very difficult to restrain, but by practice and detachment, it can be controlled." Yoga is difficult to attain for one whose mind is unbridled. However, those who have learnt to control the mind and who strive earnestly by the proper means can attain perfection in yoga. This is my opinion. Arjun said, "What is the fate of the unsuccessful yogi who begins the path with faith, but who does not endeavor sufficiently due to unsteady mind and is unable to reach the goal of yoga in this life?" Does not such a person who deviates from yoga get deprived of both material and spiritual success? O mighty armed Krishna, and perish like a broken cloud with no position in either sphere. O Krishna, please dispel this doubt of mine completely, for who other than you can do so? The Supreme Lord said, "O Parth, one who engages on the spiritual path does not meet with destruction, either in this world or the world to come. My dear friend, one who strives for God realization is never overcome by evil." The unsuccessful yogis, upon death, go to the abodes of the virtuous. After dwelling there for many years, they are again reborn in the earth plane into a family of pious and prosperous people. Else, if they have developed dispassion due to long practice of yoga, they are born into a family endowed with divine wisdom. Such a birth is very difficult to attain in this world. On taking such a birth, O descendant of Kurus, they reawaken the wisdom of their previous lives and strive even harder towards perfection in yoga. Indeed, they feel drawn towards God, even against their will, on the strength of their past discipline. Such seekers naturally rise above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. With the accumulated merits of many past births, when these yogis engage in sincere endeavor in making further progress, they become purified from material desires and attain perfection in this life itself. A yogi is superior to the tapasvi, ascetic, superior to the jnani, a person of learning, and even superior to the karmi, ritualistic performer. Therefore, O Arjun, strive to be a yogi. Of all yogis, those whose minds are always absorbed in me and who engage in devotion to me with great faith, them I consider to be the highest of all.
Radhe Radhe and welcome back. So, are you all enjoying this program till now? So, let us know. Kavita, I really feel so blessed that I'm able to attend this program, listen to all the recitation and the meaning of the verses. You know, this wouldn't have been possible if there was no festival, because alone I feel so lazy. I'll just open up and then I'll close the book. But together, there's some kind of an energy where together we are learning. So it really, really is very helpful for me. The more I understand Gita, I've started loving Gita so much. And along with that, for me, Gita is Krishna, my sweet Krishna. The love is pouring out for him. I just love Gita now. And if I love Gita, I want to ask the viewers, do you love Gita? And if you do, feel free to post your sentiments in the YouTube channel comment section. This is JK Yoga Academy YouTube channel. So,
yes, Nidhi, I was actually about to say, I love Gita because I love Krishna. That is the reason. Yeah. So I guess both of us are having the same reason, but let's hear it out from the audience. What do they feel? Why do they love Gita? And there are exciting prizes to win for the best comment. Isn't it amazing?
Yes, Kavita, this is true. In the earlier 2 days, we hadn't mentioned it, but every comment, the bestest comment you have posted gets a prize. So definitely do your best, think from within, express your sentiments and post it in JK Yoga Academy YouTube channel.
Yes, and Nidhi, I feel really fortunate and grateful to be able to get this opportunity to listen to all the chapters of Gita. And you will not believe, Gita has really helped me in making decisions in so many aspects of life. And I do see, these days, like we all as youngsters and kids even, we waste a lot of time on social media, unnecessary TV serials and stuff like that. So rather than, spending our time there, I think this would be an excellent opportunity for everyone who's trying to make their lives better.
I have wasted most of my time doing that. So, and it was so late for me, but I think now the kids are more aware because they are reading Swamiji's Bhagavad Gita. So that's thanks to, JK Yoga. And really, it's very important for us.
It also reminds me about a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, which goes like, when doubts haunt me, when disappointments stare me in the face, and I see not one ray of hope on the horizon, I turn to Bhagavad Gita and find a verse to comfort me. And I immediately begin to smile in the midst of overwhelming sorrow. Those who meditate on the Gita will derive fresh joy and new meanings from it every day.
Yes, Kavita, I totally agree. Sometimes what happens whenever, I I don't know, out of the blue. And if Gita's, sometimes my eyes fall on it, I say, okay, let me see what Gita has a message for me. I'll just go pick it up and I'll open it randomly and I'll read it and try to decode the message according to that, Maybe it has some answers for me. Yes, definitely. I totally, relate with the quote of Mahatma Gandhi. Yes.
So now let's listen attentively to the recitation and reading.
श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यासक्तमना पार्थ योगं युञ्जन्मधाश्रयः असंशयं समग्रं माम् यथा ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु
ज्ञानं तेऽहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्याम्यशेषतः यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यत् ज्ञातव्यमवशिष्यते
मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु कश्चिद् यतति सिद्धये यततामपि सिद्धानां कश्चित् मां वेति तत्त्वतः
भूमिरापो नलो वायुः कं मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहङ्कार इति यं मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरस्तदा
अपरेयमितस्त्वन्या प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूता महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत्
योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणीत्युपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभवः प्रलयस्तथा मत्तः परतरं नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययो प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दः खे पौरुषं नृषु पुण्यो गन्धः पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसौ जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विद्धि पार्थ सनातनम् बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम्
बलं बलवतां चाहं कामरागविवर्जितं धर्माविरुद्धो भूतेषु कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभ ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तामशाश्चये मत एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वाहं तेषु ते मयि त्रिभिर्गुणमये भावे एवि सर्वमिदं जगता मोहितं नाभिजानाति ममेभ्यः परमव्ययम्
दैवी ह्येषा गुणमायि माममाया दुरत्यया मामेव प्रपद्यन्ते मामेतं तरन्ति ते न मां दुष्कृतिनो मूढः प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमाः मायया प्रहृता ज्ञाना आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः
चतुर्विद्या भजन्ते मां जना सुकृतिनोऽर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्ताति ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्ता एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम् अहं स च मम प्रियः उदारा सर्व एवैते ज्ञानी त्वात्मैव मे मतम् आश्रितः स हि युक्तात्मा माम् एवानुत्तमां गतिम् बहुनां जन्मनाम् अन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेवः सर्वमिति स महात्मा स दुर्लभः कामैस्तैस्तैर्हृतज्ञानः प्रपद्यन्ते न्यदेवताः तं नियममासाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया
यो यो यां तनुं भक्तः श्रद्धयार्चितमिच्छति तस्याचलां श्रद्धां तामेव विददाम्यहम् सतया श्रद्धया युक्तः तस्याराधनम् ईहते लभते च तथा कामान् मयेव विहितान् हितान् अन्तवत्तु फलं तेषां तद्भवत्यल्पमेधसाम् देवान् देवयजो यान्ति मद्भक्ता यान्ति मामपि अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिम् आपन्नम् मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः परं भावम् अजानन्तो ममाव्ययम् अनुत्तमम् नाहं प्रकाश सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृतः मूढोऽयं नाभिजानाति लोको मामजमव्ययम्
वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानानि चार्जुन भविष्यानि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन इच्छा द्वेष समुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप येषां त्वन्तगतिं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ता भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः जरामरणमोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मं कर्म चाखिलम् साधिभूताधिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः
The Supreme Lord said, "Now listen, O Arjun, how, with the mind attached exclusively to me, and surrendering to me through the practice of Bhakti Yoga, you can know me completely, free from doubt. I shall now reveal unto you fully this knowledge and wisdom, knowing which nothing else remains to be known in the world. Among thousands of persons, hardly one strives for perfection. and amongst those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and ego. These are the 8 components of my material energy. Such is my inferior energy, but beyond it, O mighty armed Arjun, I have a superior energy. This is the Jiva Shakti, the soul energy, which comprises the embodied souls who are the basis of life in this world.
Know that all living beings are manifested by these 2 energies of mine. I am the source of the entire creation, and into me it again dissolves. There is nothing higher than myself, O Arjun. Everything rests in me, as beads strung on the thread.
I am the pure fragrance of the earth, and the brilliance in fire. I am the life force in all beings, and the penance of the ascetics. I am the taste in water, O son of Kunti, and the radiance of the sun and the moon. I am the sacred syllable, O in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and the ability in humans.
O Arjun, know that I am the eternal seed of all beings. I am the intellect of the intelligent and the splendor of the glorious.
Chapter 7, verse 11 means, O best of the Bhagavads, in strong persons I am their strength devoid of desire and passion. I am sexual activity not conflicting with virtue or scriptural injunctions. Verse 12 means, the 3 states of material existence, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are manifested by my energy. They are in me, but I am beyond them. Verse 13 means, deluded by the 3 modes of Maya, the people in this world are unable to know me, the imperishable and eternal.
Verse 14 means, my divine energy Maya, consisting of the 3 modes of nature, is very difficult to overcome, but those who surrender unto me cross over it easily. Verse 15 means, 4 kinds of people do not surrender unto me, those ignorant of knowledge, those who lazily follow their lower nature, though capable of knowing me, and those with deluded intellect, and those with a demonic nature. Namaste.
Best amongst the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious people engage in my devotion. The distressed, the seekers after knowledge, the seekers of worldly possessions, and those who are situated in knowledge.
Amongst these, I consider them to be the highest who worship me with knowledge and are steadfastly and exclusively devoted to me. I am very dear to them and they are dear to me.
Indeed, all those who are devoted to me are indeed noble, but those in knowledge who are of steadfast mind, whose intellect is merged in me, and who have made me alone as their supreme goal, I consider as my very self.
After many births of spiritual practice, one who is endowed with knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be all that is. Such a great soul is indeed very rare.
Those whose knowledge has been carried away by material desires surrendered to the celestial gods. Following their own nature, they worship the devatas, practicing rituals meant to propitiate these celestial personalities.
Carried away by material desires, surrender to the celestial gods. Following their own nature, they worship the devatas, practicing rituals meant to perpetuate the celestial personalities.
Verse 21. Whatever celestial form a devotee seeks to worship with faith, I study the faith of such a devotee in that form.
Verse 22. Endowed with faith, the devotee worships a particular celestial god and obtains the objects of desire, but in reality I alone arrange these benefits.
Verse 23. But the fruit gained by these people of small understanding is perishable. Those who worship the celestial gods go to the celestial abodes, while my devotees come to me.
Verse 24. The less intelligent think that I, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, was formless earlier and have now assumed this personality. They do not understand the imperishable, exalted nature of my personal form.
Verse 25. I am not manifest to everyone, being veiled by my divine Yogmaya energy. Hence, those without knowledge do not know that I am without birth and changeless.
O Arjun, I know of the past, present and future, and I also know all living beings, but me no one knows.
O descendant of Bharat, the dualities of desire and aversion arise from illusion. O conqueror of enemies, all living beings in the material realm are from birth diluted by these.
But persons whose sins have been destroyed by engaging in pious activities become free from illusion of dualities. Such persons worship me as with determination.
Those who take shelter in me, striving for liberation from old age and death, come to know Brahman, the individual self, and the entire field of karmic action.
Those who know me as the governing principle of Adibhuta, field of matter, and Adidaiva, the celestial gods, and as Adiyagnya, the Lord of all sacrificial performances. Such enlightened souls are in full consciousness of me even at the time of death.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
We finished the class. We started chapter 7.
That's nice. What did you learn?
Starting from this chapter, Sri Krishna teaches Arjuna how to practice loving devotion towards God through Bhakti Yoga. Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjin Madashrayah Asanchayam Samakhram Mam Yatanyasya Tachrunu.
Yes, he's going to give Arjuna full knowledge and wisdom that is required to understand true selfless devotion to God. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyamya sheshatah yajñatvaneha boyo nata jnatavyam avashishyate.
Come, sister, let me teach you this verse I learned in class today.
Not right now, Glenn. I have to complete this assignment.
You know, out of many millions of people in this world, very few fortunate souls get to learn about God and how to practice devotion. I'm going to be perfect in my devotion. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatamapi siddhanam kaschid mam vetti tattvataha. Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu kammano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritirashtada. All this beautiful nature is the material energy of God called Maya. Maya is made up of 8 components: earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and ego. Everyone is so busy enjoying this nature that they forget God.
Apareyamitastvanyam Prakritim Viddhi Me Param Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yayedam Dharyate Jagata.
Superior than material energy is the soul energy, also called Jiva Shakti.
This soul resides in our heart and gives life to our body. Since the soul is divine, it cannot be perceived by our senses.
All living beings are manifested by these two energies, soul energy and material energy.
This body is material. It does not have consciousness. The soul present inside our bodies gives consciousness to the entire body. When the soul leaves the body becomes lifeless.
Etad yonini bhutani sarvani tyupadaraya aham kritsnasya jagataha prabhava pranayastata.
Mom, God has infinite energies, but Yogamaya energy is the most superior and powerful energy of God. Do you know that goddesses are the Yogamaya energy of God? That is why we must pray to the Divine Mother Radha, Sita, Durga, and Lakshmi to bestow grace upon us so we can know God. Naham prakasha sarvasya Yogamaya samavritaha mudoyam nabhijanati loko mamajamavyayam.
Looking at the nature. Mom, God has created this world and this world is residing in Him. So we are all residing in God. We have the free will to do whatever we want, but we are still connected to God. And reside in His creation like the beads on this string. Matta parataram nanyata kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva.
Everything in the creation is an energy of God. It is God's energy that is giving taste to this water and everything we eat. It is God's energy that is in the radiance of the sun and moon.
All sounds that we hear, the sound of the universe, Om, is all God's creation. All abilities we humans possess is also God's creation.
Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayoho pranava sarva vedeshu shabdakhi paurusham rishu.
The fragrance of the earth and everything around us is the energy of God. So is the radiance of the flame.
He is also the life force behind all living beings.
Punyo gandha pritivyam cha tejas chasmi vipavasho jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu.
Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vittih partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas vinamaham. We see some people are very intelligent, and that is all God's grace upon them.
It is so wonderful to learn that we all are part of God, that God is the creator of the world, and that God has infinite energies. There are many more things to learn about God than this. It would be so awesome to see God.
Sri Krishna says we cannot know God unless we overcome material energy Maya by surrendering to Him. Only by surrendering to Him we can receive His grace.
Taivi hesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prapadyante mayametam taranti te.
What is the meaning of surrender? We must ask our Guru Swamiji.
Swamiji explains in his lectures the 6 rules of surrender that we must never forget. Number 1. Desire only according to God's will. Be happy about what God has already given us. Number 2. Do not desire against God's will. Don't complain about what God hasn't given us. Number 3. Have firm faith in God. He is always there and we are never alone. Number 4. Have gratitude towards God. He has given us so many things and let's be thankful for it. Number 5. We have firm belief that God has created this universe. All of our possessions belong to God. Number 6. Do not have pride and surrender. Always be humble about it.
Shri Krishna says that there are 4 kinds of people who do not surrender to God. Those ignorant of spiritual knowledge about God and soul. Those who are lazy to follow God's teachings even though they are very capable of reaching God. Those with deluded intellect who are proud of their intellect and have no faith in teachings of scriptures and saints. Those with demonic and evil nature. Namam dushkritino mudaha prapadyante naradamaha mayaya paritagnyanaha asuram bhavamashritah.
7th chapter 16th verse. Sri Krishna said that there were 4 different kinds of people who worship God for different reasons. Number 1, the distressed. Those who had worldly miseries and seek shelter in God. Number 2, the seekers of knowledge. Those who wanted to know all about God.
Number 3, the people who seek materialistic things from God, such as money and fame, etc. Number 4, the people who know their souls and their duties to serve and love God selflessly.
Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukriti arjuna arto jignyasurarthati jnani cha bharatarshava.
Tesham jnani nityayukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnani notyatam aham sacha mama priyaha. Which means, out of the 4 kinds of people who engage in devotion to God, people who are situated in knowledge are the greatest devotees. They possess selfless love and therefore are very dear to God. God sees them as his own self.
Mayeva manadatsva may buddhim niveshaya nivashisyasi mayeva atavurdvam na sanshaya. Okay, so the verse that I just said, what it means is that those who surrender their intellect onto Sri Krishna with selfless devotion are very dear to him, and therefore they also live in him. And what Sri Krishna is saying is that there should be no doubt about that.
Radhe Radhe everyone. Hope you're all enjoying the day 3 of International Gita Festival. What we just saw was a beautiful presentation by our Virginia Balmukunds who are learning Gita recitation. And part 2 of this function or part 2 of this presentation will come in the rest of the day. So stay tuned for it. And we would like to take a moment to thank all our Yajmans, our Pramukh Yajman for this International Gita Festival, Harish Rangacharya, Surya Prakash Purnada, Narendra Kumar Saranam, Madhu Chanda, Shiksha Chetri. And our Mukhya Yajmans for this week-long festival, Nimanshu Parekh ji, Kamna and Vishal Koka, Vrinda Das and family. Our Yajmans for 1 day, Padmavati Komaraju ji, Gayatri Narayan, Tripti Lagad, Raviranjan ji Pathak, Bishaka Sengupta ji and Uday Kumar. And our Gita Parayan Yajmans for 1 chapter, Amit Kaddam ji and Shashi Verma ji. Thank you to all these Yajmans and generous participants. All the proceeds from this event will go to the noble and charitable projects of JK Yog. If you would like to become a Yajman and support this noble cause, you can visit jkyog.org/Gita Festival and become a Yajman. I hope you're enjoying and keep watching and enjoy the rest of the celebrations.
Hey, and welcome back. Feeling so grateful to be part of this grand celebrations of International Gita Festival. God has been so kind. I was not even expecting that I would get such a great opportunity to be able to study Bhagavad Gita through this festival. What do you say, Nidhi ji?
Yes, Kavita. I mean, I every time I bow down to God and Krishna that thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Even Kavita, even for hosting, as a host, we are able to, attend all the sessions.
Yes.
And we are able to get all the knowledge. So I really, really thank God for that. What a grace.
Yes. So I think let's hear it out from the audience as well, Nidhi ji. So audience, friends, family, anybody who is there online, if you think you have been blessed, please type blessed in the comments section and let us know. So with this, I would also like to share one more quote from Bhagavad Gita, and that is, on this path, effort never goes to waste and there is no failure. Even a little efforts towards spiritual awareness will protect you from the greatest fear. So friends, our time spent here will go a long, long, long way. Trust me.
Yes, Kavita. And I say that it's only due to God's grace we get a true guru. And thank you so much, that we all have been blessed for that. So definitely it resonates with us. And it's impossible to even be in this spiritual path, let alone to understand Gita. So definitely I agree with you, Kavita.
Radhe Radhe. Bhagavad Gita has taught me how to face difficulties and mitigate challenges with strength and courage. I've learned from Gita that surrendering to God 100% and turning towards becoming Krishna consciousness will clean the impurities of the heart. Gita has taught me to find the purpose of my life, which is to live to the fullest with honesty, integrity, discipline, and purity. Radhe Radhe.
यदि आपने शस्त्र उठा लिया तो आपका ये मित्र, आपका ये सखा, आपका ये भक्त इतिहास को मुंह दिखाने योग्य नहीं रहेगा केशव।
So this is the chariot that me, my dad, and my mom worked on. These are the horses. There are 4 horses, and they're connected to the reins. This is the flag. It has Hanuman on it because Hanuman himself sits in Arjun's chariot, or Arjun's chariot's flag. Now this is Krishna imparting knowledge to Arjun. And this is Krishna's seat to drive Arjun to anywhere Arjun wants to go. And this is the roof of the chariot. It holds like some shelter so that if rain comes, they don't get disturbed. And the chariot is yellow. Thank you.
Radhe Radhe, the rocking duo is back. Hope you are all enjoying the program and we are so happy to see a huge crowd attending. Your response means a lot to us. And now we are a big family connected through this event and through the most revered scripture, Bhagavad Gita. How do you feel, Nidhi?
Oh, these families, they have become now a part of my heart, because now we have interacted with them, since last few weeks, and now they are also like the whole week they are with us. So yes, Kavita, I agree.
So what about a little test then? Let's test the knowledge. So which means it is time for our trivia question. The question for today is, apart from Arjun, who else heard Gita first hand from Krishna?
Come on, I'm expecting all the participants to answer. I know you guys, you have done a brilliant job in all the contests. Show Kavita that you know it. Show off your knowledge. This is the time. So post your comments.
And as a reminder, please do post in why do you love Gita, because the best comment will also win prizes.
Yes. And Kavita, I'm wondering if they want to share the prize with me. I can give you my number. Please share the prize. I know all the winners. There's so many opportunities to win prizes. So Kavita and me are here. If you really are feeling generous, we both are here. Right, Kavita?
Yes, Nidhi of course.
परमात्मने नमः। अथ अष्टमोऽध्यायः अक्षरब्रह्मयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं नेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावो भवकरो विसर्गकर्मसञ्चितः अधिभूतं क्षरो भाव पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वर अन्तकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरन् यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः।
यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावं त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावं भावितः। तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु माम् अनुस्मरयुध्य च मयार्पिता मनो बुद्धिर्मामे वैश्यस्य संशयम्।
अभ्यासयोगयुक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगम्यते परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थानुचिन्तयन्। कविं पुराणं मनुशासितारं मनोरणीयंसमनुस्मरेद्यः सर्वस्य दातारम् अचिन्त्यरूपम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् प्रयाणकाले मनसाचलेन भक्त्युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणम् आवेश्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषम् उपैति दिव्यम्।
यदक्षरं वेदविदो वदन्ते विशन्ति यद्यतयो वीतरागाः यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तते पदं सङ्गृहेण प्रवक्ष्ये। सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनो हि हृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्याध्यायात्मनः प्राणाम् आश्रितो योगधारणाम्। ॐ इत्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म यहरन् मामनुस्मरन् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम्। अनन्यचेता सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तो स योगिनः मामुपैत्य पुनर्जन्मा दुःखालयमशाश्वतं माप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमं गताः
Abrahmabhutnalokaः punararvartinarjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate sahasrayuga paryantam aharyad brahmano vidu Ratim yuga sahasrantam tehoratra vido janaha avyaktaha sarvaha pravavantyaharagame ratragame praliyante tatraiva vyakta sanyake.
My name is Sirish. I'm going to do chapter 8, verse 19 and verse 20. Bhuta grama sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratyagame vasha partha prabhavatya haragame parastasmatu bhavanyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati.
Shara ityuktaha tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante taddama paramam mama purushasa paraparta bhaktya labhyastvananjaya yasyanta sani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam yatra kale tvanavritim avritim chaiva yoginaha prayata yanti tam kalam vakshyami bharatarshava.
Agni Jyotir Aha Shuklaha Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Brahma Vidojanaha Dhumo Ratristatha Krishnaha Shanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandramasam Jyotir Yogi Papyani Vartate Shukla Krishne Gati Hite Jagatah Shashvate Mate Ekaya Yatyana Vrittim Anyaya Vartate Punaha Naite Shiti Partha Janan Yogi Muhyate Kashchana Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukta Bhavarjuna Vedeshu Yagneshu Tapassu Chaiva Daneshu Yat Punya Phalam Pradishtam Atyeti Tat Sarvamidam Viditva Yogi Param Sthanam Upaiti Chadyam.
Arjuna said, O Supreme Lord, what is Brahman, absolute reality? What is Adhyatma, the individual soul? And what is Karma? What is said to be Adibhuta? And who is to be Adideva? Who is Adiyagnya in the body, and how is he the Adiyagnya? O Krishna, how are you to be known at the time of death by those with steadfast mind? The Blessed Lord said, the supreme indestructible entity is called Brahman. One's own self is called Adhyatma. Actions pertaining to the material personality of living beings and its development are called karma, or fruitive actions. O best of embodied souls, the physical manifestation that is constantly changing is called Adibhuta. The universal form of God, which presides over the celestial gods in this creation, is called Adidaiva. I, who dwell in the heart of every living being, am called Adiyagnya, or the Lord of all sacrifices. Those who relinquish me, the body, while remembering me at the moment of death, will come to me. There is certainly no doubt about this.
Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, he will attain that state of being with no doubt. Therefore, you should always remember me, even though you have duty of fighting in the war. With your mind and intellect surrendered to me, you will definitely attain me. There's no doubt about that. O Parth, you should engage your mind into remembering me. Then, without deviating, then you will attain me. You will certainly attain me. God is the omniscient. God is the most ancient one. God is the controller. God is the subtler of the subtlest. God is the supporter of all, and is the possessor of the inconceivable divine form. He is also brighter than the sun, and he is beyond all darkness of ignorance. He is when at the time of death, with the unmoving mind, when one attains the practice of yoga, they'll fix their pran between their eyebrows, and they will start to steadily remember God with great devotion. Then one will fully attain me.
Chapter 8, 11th verse. Scholars of the Vedas describe him as imperishable. Great ascetics practice the vow of celibacy and renounce worldly pleasures to enter into him. I shall now explain to you briefly the path to that goal. Chapter 8, 12th verse. Restraining all the gates of the body and fixing the mind in the heart region, and then drawing the life breath into the head, one should get established into steadfast yogic concentration. Chapter 8, 13th verse. One who departs from the body while remembering me, the Supreme Personality, and chanting the syllable Om will attain the supreme goal. Chapter 8, 14th verse. O Partha, for those yogis who always think of me with exclusive devotion, I am easily attainable because of their constant absorption in me. Chapter 8, 15th verse. Having attained me, the great souls are no more subject to rebirth in this world, which is transient and full of misery, because they have attained the highest perfection.
In all the worlds of this material creation, up to the highest abode of Brahma, you will be subject to rebirth, O Arjun, but on attaining my abode, O son of Kunti, there is no further rebirth. One day of Brahma lasts 1,000 cycles of the 4 ages, and his night also extends to the same span of time. The wise who know this understand the reality about night and day. The advent of Brahma's day, all living beings emanate from the unmanifest source, and at the fall of his night, all embodied beings again merge into their unmanifest source.
The multitudes of beings repeatedly take birth with the advent of Brahma's day, and are reabsorbed on the arrival of cosmic night to manifest again automatically on the advent of the next cosmic day.
Transcendental to this manifest and unmanifest creation, there is yet another unmanifest, eternal dimension. That realm does not cease even when all others do.
That unmanifest dimension is the supreme goal, and upon reaching it, one never returns to this mortal world. That is my supreme abode. The Supreme Divine Personality is greater than all that exists. Although He is all-pervading and all living beings are situated in Him, yet He can be known only through devotion. I shall now describe to you the different paths of passing away from this world, O best of the Bharats, one of which leads to liberation and the other leads to rebirth. Those who know the Supreme Brahman and who depart from this world during the 6 months of the sun's northern course, the bright fortnight of the moon, and the bright part of the day attain the supreme destination. The practitioners of Vedic rituals who pass away during the 6 months of the sun's southern course, the dark fortnight of the moon, the time of smoke, the night attain the celestial abodes. After enjoying celestial pleasures, they again return to the earth. These two bright and dark paths always exist in this world. The way of light leads to liberation, and the way of darkness leads to rebirth. Yogis who know the secret of these two paths, O Parth, are never bewildered. Therefore, at all times be situated in yoga, union with God. The yogis who know this secret gain merit far beyond the fruits of Vedic rituals, the study of the Vedas, performance of sacrifices, austerities, and charities. Such yogis reach the supreme abode.
Radhe Radhe. The Bhagavad Gita International Festival is a very beautiful event organized by the JK Yog family. It gave me the opportunity to read the Bhagavad Gita for the very first time. In fact, I thought that it is very difficult to understand and was only meant for the scholars who know the Sanskrit language. But thankfully, Swamiji's commentary is so simple to understand that I really like to learn, and I am really learning a lot from when I am reading the Bhagavad Gita. The competitions organized for this event by the JKO volunteers motivated me and my family to participate in them and to study together as a group, to learn for the quizzes, and also the sessions that were arranged by the volunteers in the preparation of these quizzes, such as the Bhagavad Gita study sessions, the Bhagavad Gita recitation sessions, and the Sanskrit learning classes, helped us in understanding the pronunciations of these Sanskrit verses and understanding the deeper meanings of these scriptures. Especially, there was a lot of knowledge sharing between the satsangis who attended these sessions on a regular basis. So we really learned a lot and we really enjoyed it. It was a very beautiful, learning experience. And I look forward to more of such competitions and more of such events. My heartfelt gratitude to all the JKO volunteers, to Swamiji and Maharajji. Thank you so very much. Radhe Radhe.
श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं तु ते गुह्यतमं प्रवक्ष्याम्यनसूयवे ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं यज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे शुभात् राजविद्या राजगुह्यं पवित्रम् इदमुत्तमम् प्रत्यक्षावगमं धर्म्यं सुसुखं कर्तुमव्ययम् अश्रद्धधाना पुरुषाः धर्मस्यास्य परन्तप अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते मृत्युसंसारवर्त्मनि मया ततमिदं सर्वं जगदव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेष्वस्थितः न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभिन्न च भूतस्थो ममात्मा भूतभावनः
यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यम् वायुः सर्वत्र गोमहान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम् प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात् न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनमदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु मय्याध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते
अवजानन्ति मां मूढाः मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितम् परं भावमजानन्तो मम भूतमहेश्वरम् मोघाशमोघकर्माणो मोघज्ञानविचेतसः राक्षसीमासुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रिताः महात्मानस्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिताः भजन्त्यनन्यमनसो ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम् सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढव्रताः नमस्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते सज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम्
चतुरहं यज्ञः स्वदाहमहमौषधं मन्त्रोऽहम् अहमेवाचम् अहमग्निरहं हुतम् पिताहम् अस्य जगतो माता दाता पितामहः वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कार ऋक्साम यजुरेव च गतिर्भर्त प्रभुः साक्षी निवश शरणं सुहृत प्रभवत् प्रलयस्थानं निदानं बीजमव्ययम् तपम्यहं वर्षं निगृह्णाम्युत्सृजामि च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सदा अर्जुन त्रैवेत्यमां सोमपापूतपापं यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नान्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान्
ते तं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालं क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्ना गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते अनन्या चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जना पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम् ये जन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः
तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्त्य विधिपूर्वकम् अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च न तु मामभिजानन्ति तत्त्वेन तश्यवन्ति ते यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेजा यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदाहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
यत् करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददसि यत यत् तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत् कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्षसे कर्मबन्धनैः संन्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो माम् उपैष्यसि सर्वोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेष्योऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् अपि चेत्सु दुराचारो भजते माम् अनन्यभाक् स दुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग् व्यवसितो हि सः
क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा स्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति मामि पार्थ विपाश्रित्य येऽपि सुपापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शुद्धः तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम् किं पुनः ब्रह्मणा पुण्यभक्तराजसयस्तथा अनित्यम् असुखं लोकम् इमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम् मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वश्यसि युक्तैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः
The Supreme Lord said, O Arjun, because you are not envious of me, I shall now impart to you this very confidential knowledge and wisdom, upon knowing which you will be released from the miseries of material existence.
This knowledge is the king of sciences and the most profound of all secrets. It purifies those who hear it. It is directly realizable in accordance with dharma and is easy to practice and has an everlasting effect.
People who have no faith in this dharma are unable to attain me. O conqueror of enemies, they repeatedly come back to this world in the cycle of birth and death.
This entire cosmic manifestation is pervaded by me in my unmanifest form. All living beings dwell in me, but I do not dwell in them.
And yet the living beings do not abide in me. Behold, the mystery of my divine energy. Although I am the creator and sustainer of all living beings, I am not influenced by them or by material nature.
The meaning of these verses is, know that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, likewise all living beings rest always in me. At the end of one kalp, all living beings merge into my primordial material energy. At the beginning of the next creation, O son of Kunti, I manifest them again. Presiding over my material energy, I generate these myriad forms again and again, in accordance with the force of their natures. O conqueror of wealth, none of these actions bind me. I remain like a neutral observer, ever detached from these actions. Working under my direction, these material energy brings into being all animate and inanimate forms, O son of Kunti. For this reason, the material world undergoes the changes of creation, maintenance, and dissolution.
When I descend in my personal form, deluded persons are unable to recognize me. They do not know the divinity of my personality as the Supreme Lord of all beings. Bewildered by the material energy, such persons embrace demoniac and atheistic views. In that deluded state, their hopes for welfare are in vain. Their fruitive actions are wasted, and their culture of knowledge is baffled. But the great souls who take shelter of my divine energy. O Parth, know me, Lord Krishna, is the origin of all creations. They engage in my devotion with their minds fixed exclusively on me, always singing my divine glories, striving with great determination, and humbly bowing down before me. They constantly worship me in loving devotion. Others, engaging in the yajna of cultivating knowledge, worship me by many methods. Some see me as undifferentiated oneness, that is, non-different from them, while others see me as separate from them. Still others worship me in the infinite manifestations of my cosmic form.
It is I who am the Vedic ritual. I am the sacrifice. And I am the oblation offered to the ancestors. I am the medicinal herb and I am the Vedic mantra. I am the clarified butter. I am the fire and act of fire offering. Of the universe, I am the father. I am also the mother, the sustainer, and the grandsire. I am the purifier, the goal of knowledge, the sacred syllable Om. I am the Rigveda, Samaveda, and Yajurveda. I am the supreme goal of all living beings, and I am also the sustainer, master, witness, abode, and shelter and friend. I am the origin, end, and resting place of creation. I am the storehouse and eternal seed. I radiate heat as the sun, and I withhold as well as send forth rain. I am immortality as well as death personified. O Arjuna, I am the spirit as well as matter. Those who inclined to the fruitive activity described in the Vedas worship me through ritualistic sacrifices. Being purified from sin by drinking the soma juice, which is the remnant of the yajnas, they seek to go to heaven. By virtue of their pious deeds, they go to the abode of Indra, the king of heaven, and enjoy the pleasures of the celestial gods.
When they have enjoyed the vast pleasures of the heaven, the stock of their merits being exhausted, they return to the earthly plane. Thus, those who follow the Vedic rituals, desiring objects of enjoyment, repeatedly come and go in this world. There are those who always think of me and engage in exclusive devotion to me. To them, whose minds are always absorbed in me, I provide what they lack and preserve what they already possess. O son Kunti, even those devotees who faithfully worship other gods also worship me. But they do so by the wrong method. I am the enjoyer and the only Lord of all sacrifices. But those who fail to realize my divine nature must be reborn. Worshippers of those celestial gods take birth amongst the celestial gods. Worshippers of the ancestors go to the ancestors. Worshippers of the ghosts take birth among such beings, and my devotees come to me alone. If one offers to me with devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or even water, I delightfully partake of that article offered with love by my devotee in pure consciousness.
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer as oblation to the sacred fire, whatever you bestow as a gift, and whatever austerities you perform, O son of Kunti, do them as an offering to me. By dedicating all your works to me, You will be freed from the bondage of good and bad results. With your mind attached to me through renunciation, you will be liberated and will reach me. I am equally disposed to all living beings. I am neither inimical nor partial to anyone. But the devotees who worship me with love reside in me and I reside in them. Even if the vilest sinners worship me with exclusive devotion, they are to be considered righteous, for they have made the proper resolve.
Quickly they become virtuous and attain lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare boldly that no devotee of mine is ever lost. All those who take refuge in me, whatever their birth, race, sex, or caste, even those whom society scorns, will attain supreme destination. What then to speak about kings and sages with virtuous deeds? Therefore, having come to this transcendent and joyless world, engage in devotion unto me. Always think of me, be devoted to me, worship me, and offer obeisance to me. Having dedicated your mind and body to me, you will certainly come to me.
Radhe Radhe everyone, welcome back. Now today we take this opportunity to thank all the volunteers who have supported and helped us in this event, and also all the participants for the recitation and reading. You know, your time is so precious and you have given us your time, so that time never comes back. It is so precious, I would say. So thank you once again. And all the contestants who have joined worldwide with us through this event, our heartfelt gratitude to you. So Kavita, what do you think? You know, isn't it amazing that we have connected with so many people around the world just in, I would say, few weeks?
I agree, Nidhi. I mean, it's really amazing to see how we all have connected. And one point I would like to mention here is that, you know, the number of contests that we are having worldwide, there are 20 plus contests which we are conducting through this International Gita Festival. And there are hundreds and hundreds of participants who have participated.
Totally. Yes.
So with this, Nidhi ji, would you like to answer?
Yes, that is what I was about to go. I was saying, let me at least go, because people are just waiting for the answer. Yes, I'm coming to the answer. So the answer to the question, apart from Arjun, who else heard Gita firsthand from Krishna? I actually, you know, Kavita, I didn't know that. Hanuman, Sanjay, and Barbaric. There were 3 people. Oh my God, I didn't know. I thought only one person heard it. So,
this was great.
Anybody who got it right, please let us know. Raise your hand, or tell us that I got it right. See, as a painter, when I used to paint, even the chariot, I have noticed there's a flag, and on the flag, I see the photo of Hanumanji. I'm like, how does Hanuman come here? But now it clears all the doubts. Oh, Hanumanji was here,
Wow, probably that makes sense now to me as well. So, Nidhi ji, I noticed in Gita that Sri Krishna talks in the Gita from 5 different standpoints as well. So,
Really?
And I was very surprised to know this during our Gita learning sessions. And, I would like to share that with the audience as well, because I was truly amazed after learning about it. And it is as an infinite consciousness, as the creator Ishwar, as Sri Krishna, as a teacher, as a friend. So all these are different standpoints from which Sri Krishna talks in Gita. And Gita consists of both Brahma Vidya, which is pure science, and Yog Shastra, which is applied science.
Applied science. Yes. Totally. Yeah.
So all these facts, Nidhi ji, they are like true knowledge.
This is like a gems of wisdom that, we are able to understand, know, and share it with all the people. That is very important, actually. So everybody, we are learning together, isn't it, Kavita?
Yes. So it is time for us to hear from our audience as well. Please type in your answers. Let us know which verse meaning impacted you the most, and do also share with us the key takeaways from these verses that we are reciting together. What do you make out of them? What is your understanding for them?
Yes,
These
totally.
posts in the YouTube section.
Yeah. So, Kavita, what is coming up now?
Oh, I I've totally forgot. Nidhi ji, you'll be surprised by this. Now coming up is a special enactment by. Do you want to make a
Tell
guess?
me, I have to know it, yeah. Come on.
It is the
My
Rockstar
guess.
team.
I'm
It is the
trying to
Rockstar
guess. It is that. You know that. That team. Yeah, my favorite team. The Rockstar team of Minneapolis.
It is the Rockstar team of
It
Minneapolis.
is. Friends, don't go by the innocent face of our Kavita. She's a great actor, you know. She does an amazing job. So talented. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes. And after that, we will also have a testimonial from a devotee. And then there will be an interesting talk by Pritha on our favorite topic, the art of mind management from Gita.
Awesome.
How to balance between devotion and material life, Gaurav has asked. You can actually try and make your whole life devotion. Swami Vivekananda said, no work is secular. All work is devotion and worship. So take a look at Arjun. Before the Mahabharata, he was a warrior. After the Mahabharata, he was still a warrior. What changed was his intention. Earlier, he thought the war is for my aggrandizement. And later on, he realized the war is for the glory and pleasure of Sri Krishna. Similarly, you start leading your life for the glory of God. And there's nothing material that remains. Lord Krishna says, Yat karoshi yadash, whatever you eat, whatever you drink, whatever you do, Arjun, do it as an offering to me. But that elevated state will require effort. You can't just fly there. If you wish to reach that state of consciousness where you see the whole world as divine and connected with God, then you must work on it. And the first step you take is out of your daily schedule of 24 hours, take out 1 hour, just block it off for nurturing your spirituality. And if you want to know my recommendation of what to do, we have the Kripalu Paddhati. The Kripalu Paddhati, we can ask you, volunteers, to give you more information about that, how to learn about it. It says, spend 1 hour for your mind and intellect and soul every day, and 1 hour for the well-being of your body. So that's 1 hour Kripalu Paddhati, 3 steps to mind management, and 1 hour Kripalu Prakriya, 3 steps to holistic health.
Such great presentations by all the children, and we're getting ready for a pragmatic wisdom and a special enactment. But before that, we want to congratulate our Day 2 trivia winner, which is Sangeeta. And the answer to yesterday's trivia question was, Sri Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjun in approximately 45 minutes. And congratulations to our I Love Gita slogan winner for Day 2. And it goes to Mrs. Chitra Subramanian. And her reason was, I love Bhagavad Gita because it transforms one who blindly trusts and surrenders to Sri Krishna and his wisdom. Congratulations to both the winners. For all the participants, keep sending your slogans, type in your slogans in the YouTube comment section, and each day we will pick the winner, and all these winners will get a surprise gift. Once again, thank you to all our Ejmans. As you know, this International Gita Festival is a beautiful event bringing all families together, all divine souls together in appreciation for Bhagavad Gita, for such a huge event where we had 20 plus contest organized, and so many volunteers have poured in their heart and soul to it. And we also want to take this moment to thank our sponsors and Yajmans. Our platinum sponsor is Madhu Reddy ji, our Pramukh Yajman, Mr. Harish Rangacharya, Mr. Surya Prakash Punada, Mr. Narendra Kumar Sharanam, Madhu Chanda ji and family, Shiksha Chetri ji and family, our Mukhya Yajmans, Nimanshu Parekh, Kamna Vishal Koka, Vrinda Das and family. Our Yajmans, Padmavati ji Komaraju, Gayatri Narayan ji, Tripti ji Laghad, Raviranjan ji Pathak, Vishaka ji Sengupta, and Uday Kumar ji. Our Gita Parayan Yajmans, Amit Kadam ji and Shashi Verma ji, all proceeds support the noble and charitable activities of JK Yog. To become an Yajman, visit jkyog.org/Gita Festival. Thank you.
उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मानमवसादयेत् आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः.
This shlok is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 5. Elevate yourself through the power of your mind and not degrade yourself, for the mind can be the friend and also the enemy of the self. A controlled mind can accomplish many beneficial endeavors, whereas an uncontrolled mind can degrade the consciousness with most ignoble thoughts. We will now see the story of two young sisters leading completely different lives based on how they tackle their mind.
Thank you for waiting. Sorry, I got an urgent call.
No, that's okay.
So tell me, you surely want to interview me? But why?
You're doing so well in your life at such a young age. I wanted everyone to know the secret.
Okay then, let's start.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I like to help children in need, and I love to see the smile on their innocent faces.
So what was the driving factor behind opening daycares for the underprivileged families?
Actually, as a child, my family wasn't very privileged. We were struggling to survive. As an adult, I want to support similar families in the community.
Can you elaborate a little bit on your childhood?
Well, my parents were always fighting, and it was very sad. But it taught me a very important life lesson. There will always be challenges in life, and we should not let them overpower us. You know, in fact, I learned a lot from my father. I knew I never wanted to become someone like him.
Do you have any siblings? And are they as successful as you?
Actually, I do have a younger sister who works at the local mall.
I would like to interview her as well. I appreciate all your time.
No, Thank you, you're being too kind. I appreciate you listening to me.
Shri Krishna states that on one hand, as the greatest benefactor of the soul, the mind has the potential of giving us the most benefit. As we saw here, the girl overpowered the situation with her positive thoughts and became successful in life. Let's now see on the other side how mind, as our greatest adversary, also has potential of causing maximum harm.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Archie, your waiter for the night. How can I help you?
Hi.
Wait, just 1 second. Why don't I get a bonus? I've been working here for years. Okay.
Why were you screaming?
I'm sorry. It's just that my boss is so cheap. I work here day and night. I've worked here for actually years, but he's never given me a bonus.
Okay.
So, what would you like to order?
Actually, I'll need help with the menu. Can you help me, please?
Ma'am, I see you have a phone, so I presume you can open Google and check our menu on our website.
I did, but I will still need your help if you can help me.
Ma'am, I'll come to you in a minute. I have other work to do as well.
If you could help, then I would be able
Ma'am, here is the menu. I am going now. I have to help other people as well. I'm not only your waiter. Now, ma'am, have you decided what you're going to order tonight?
I'll have a milkshake and a veggie burger.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, we don't have the veggie burger.
Can you please check?
Ma'am, we don't have it. You've got to order something else. I can't waste too much time on you. I have someone very important coming for my interview today.
I am that important person for the interview here today.
Really? Are you from AFM News?
I am.
Oh my god. Wait, ma'am. I'll be right with you, okay? Let me just go put my clipboard away. So, you would like to interview me?
Yes. Can we sit and talk?
Oh, of course. So, where's your video camera and stuff?
No, this will be a voice recording in my phone, so we can record here.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Archie.
Yeah, so I interviewed your sister yesterday, and she's a successful, young, kind, and polite woman. How are your lives so different?
Well, I had a really bad childhood. My parents were always fighting. They didn't care where we turned up. So that's what I saw, and that's what I learned. The blame should go to my parents. They didn't raise me properly.
Can you tell more about your childhood?
Before that, will I get paid for this interview?
What?
I asked ma'am if I will get paid, like as in get money for this interview.
No, there is no payment for the interview.
What a miser, you're just like my boss. I refuse to waste another second of my time on you. Miser.
The girl we just saw had many complaints, but unlike her sister, she never thought of improving her mental state. Similarly, when we suffer reversals on the path of spiritual growth, we tend to complain that others have caused havoc to us and they are our enemies. However, our biggest enemy is our own mind. We are responsible for our own elevation or debasement. Nobody can traverse the path of God realization for us. Saints and Gurus show us the way, but we have to travel it ourselves. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Radhe Sailesh.
Oh, hi Peggy. Radhe, how are you?
Good. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm reading this Bhagavad Gita, commentary by Swami Mukundananda ji. It's such an awesome book.
What are your favorite verse from it?
Chapter 12, verse 13 and 14. Those two are my favorite verses in the whole book.
Why is that?
It talks about the qualities that Krishna loves about his devotees, what qualities Krishna is looking for in his devotees, how to be the best devotee for Krishna, and then the next 6 verses after that explains even more details about how to become the better devotee. So those are my favorite. So I'm trying my best to live up to those qualities. So this is an awesome book. Swami Mukundananda's explanations are so intricate and enlightening. I love reading this.
Hi Nikhil, I just thought I would catch up with you. We haven't spoken in a while. All good at your end?
Yeah, they're just fine.
You don't sound like your usual self. Is something bothering you?
No, nothing important. Just didn't sleep well last night.
Okay, so how did your club elections go? Did you become the president?
No, I actually didn't. We had the elections yesterday and I lost. I'm very upset about the loss.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But you know what? You can still participate in the events organized by them. And that was part of the club that you loved, right? Participating in the event. Not being the president doesn't really mean that you can't still be a part of the club.
Yeah, but that's all well, but I worked really, really hard over these past couple of years and I've become an active member and volunteered as much as possible. Organizing fundraisers to generate money, spending many, many hours to research what would be fun that we could do every weekend. Being able to become the president of the club would have boosted my resume as well, and I would have at least something to show for all the work that I've done. However, all my efforts were a waste. I feel unappreciated for many of my efforts, and I am so angry that the other club members are choosing a person who never had an original idea and always relied on my advice.
Well, with these thoughts going around in your mind, no wonder you look upset. I think I know what will make you feel better. I attend the Bhagavad Gita study session. I think you should come and join us today for the class.
Yeah, you told me about this, but I don't think this is going to work for me. I'm just a little frustrated. I don't think I need advice from the Bhagavad Gita.
Well, that is where you're wrong. Sri Krishna spoke the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjun, who was just unhappy and dejected, like you are at this moment. The Bhagavad Gita gives us many kinds of wisdom, but it also gives us insights into how the mind functions and how we can inspire the mind to choose higher emotions when failures or sadness drags us down. So do attend today's session. We'll be discussing the verses pertaining to how or why anger arises. I assure you, after reading Swamiji's commentary and hearing the words that he has to say, it will definitely improve your mood and you will be a more hopeful person at the end of the session.
Maybe I do have some time to spare. Might as well see how it goes.
Okay, great. Let's get to the session. Radhe Radhe everyone. I brought my friend along, Nikhil, for the session today. I hope that's not a problem.
Oh, never a problem. We welcome everyone. That's great. Welcome, Nikhil, to the session. We are currently reading through chapter 2 of Gita's Sankhya Yoga, or the Yoga of Analytical Knowledge, from verses 2.62. Let's read through them.
ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषूपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते.
Translation, Bhagavad Gita, verse 2.62. While contemplating on the objects of the senses, one develops attachment to them. Attachment leads to desire, and from desire arises anger.
Yeah. Now let's look at the commentary from Swami Mukundananda ji for the above verses. So Anger, greed, lust, etc. are considered in Vedic scriptures as manas rog, or the disease of the mind. We are all aware of the disease of the body. Even a single bodily ailment has the power to make one's whole day miserable. But we do not realize that we are being continuously tormented by multiple mental ailments. And since we do not recognize lust, anger, greed, etc. as mental diseases, we do not try to cure them. So, psychology is a branch of human knowledge that attempts to analyze these ailments and proposes solution to them. However, both the analysis and the solution presented by Western psychology leave much to be desired and appear to be gross approximations of the reality of the mind.
In this and subsequent verses, Sri Krishna has given perfect and penetrating insight into functioning of the mind. He explains that when we repeatedly contemplate that there is happiness in some object, the mind becomes attached to it. For example, in a class there are a number of boys and girls, and they interact innocuously with each other. One day, one boy notices something about one girl and starts thinking, I would be very happy if she were mine. As he continuously repeats this thought in his mind becomes attached to her. He tells his friends that he is madly in love with her and he is unable to study because his mind repeatedly goes to her. His friends ridicule him that they all interact with her in class, but none of them is crazy about her. Why is he losing his sleep and ruining his studies because of her? The fact is that he repeatedly thought that there was happiness in this girl and his mind became attached to her. Once desire develops, it gives birth to two more problems, greed and anger. Greed comes from the fulfillment of the desire. If you satisfy desire, it leads to greed. Thus, the desire is never eliminated by satiating it.
If one person were to get all the wealth, luxurious and sensual objects in the world, that person's desire would still not be satiated. Hence, knowing it to be the cause of misery, an intelligent person should renounce desire. On the flip side, what happens if the fulfillment of the desire is obstructed? It gives rise to anger. Bear in mind that anger does not arise by itself. It is created from the obstruction of desire, and the desire arises from the attachment. While attachment comes from contemplation of the sense objects, in this manner we see how the simple act of contemplating the pleasure of sense objects leads downwards to the twin diseases of greed and anger. In the next verse, Sri Krishna continues the chain further down and explains the consequences of anger.
Thank you everyone for reading the purport of the verse. Anyone want to share any thoughts on what we just read?
Okay. The Vedic philosophy classifies our negative emotions of anger, greed, jealousy, etc. as mental diseases.
In some ways, problems like anger, greed, etc. are more painful than physical ailments because we are under their grip all day long.
True. So what did you learn, Nikhil, from the discussion?
I was able to learn that we have a deep desire for an object or a goal, and if we're able to acquire it, we can develop greed, and if we don't get it, we become angry.
Just like you developed this desire for becoming the president of the club, and when that did not happen, you became angry. There's actually a related video on the subject by Swamiji. Let's watch that video and see, then we can continue our discussion.
His question is, sometimes I get very mad. What to do? Have you ever figured out why you get mad? Have you ever realized what is it that causes you to get mad? When something that you want doesn't happen, that is what makes you mad. What do you think? When something that you want doesn't happen, that's what makes you mad? So you have this urge, this must happen. When it doesn't happen, you become mad. Right? Now remember, this universe is not for the fulfillment of your desires. Are you the center of the universe? Is the whole world rotating around you? Then why should your every desire be fulfilled? It doesn't have to be fulfilled, right? So always keep these two possibilities in mind. My wish may be fulfilled, my wish may not be fulfilled. When you make peace with both sides, then you do not get mad. So this intense urge that what I want has to happen, release it. Now suppose you want this to happen. Your brother wants the reverse to happen. Let's say that you wanted to play one video game and your brother wanted to play another, and you've got only one PlayStation. Now that means one of the two will definitely get mad, because only one wish can happen, be fulfilled at the same time, isn't it? So that is why it will never happen that our wishes will always be fulfilled. So to be able to give up our wishes is the sign of spiritual maturity. Always in life, this feeling, what I want must happen, this is what gets us into trouble. Even with God and Guru. God and Guru should do what I want them to do. Now supposing God and Guru don't do what I want them to do, then they are also cancelled. Then I'll fight with them. What I want should happen. Why? Because my desire is so important. This was the material consciousness that we lived in for endless lifetimes. If we wish to get out of this material realm, we will have to give up our desires. The real desire is for happiness. I want happiness. Now the trick here is, as long as you are running for happiness, you will not get it. When you run after this, I wish to give happiness to God and Guru, that is when you will find true happiness. Alright? So it is in giving that we will receive. But this desire that I want my happiness, this will have to be overcome.
Swamiji very nicely explained that we, after all, are not the center of the universe, and not everything can happen according to our wish. We have to be ready and make peace with both the favorable and the unfavorable outcomes.
Yes, I also should have mentally prepared myself for losing the election. Then maybe I wouldn't have felt so bad.
But how do we not get angry when someone insults or demeans us when it is not warranted?
I think we have to give up the desire that everyone should respect us and say only good things about us. Like it was mentioned in the video, we are not the center of the universe. Things we don't like will happen to us. We can determine what we do and say, but not what others or someone else does. We can choose to react positively to it, and instead of getting angry, see if we can improve ourselves in that situation.
So I personally think that the verse is telling us that instead of attaching our mind to material desires, which will lead to greed and anger, we should have the desire to please God.
Yes, exactly. So it was a wonderful video and a discussion, a lot of good discussion points. Let's move on to the next verse now. Let's find out in the next verse what is the consequence of anger.
क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति.
Translation: Anger leads to clouding of judgment, which results in bewilderment of the memory. When the memory is bewildered, the intellect gets destroyed, and when the intellect is destroyed, one is ruined. The commentary 5 by Mukundananda ji. Anger impairs judgment, just as the morning mist creates a hazy covering on the sunlight. In anger, people commit mistakes that they later regret because the intellect gets clouded by the haze of emotions. People say, "He is 20 years elder to me. Why did I speak in this manner to him? What happened to me?" What happened was that the faculty of judgment was affected by anger, and hence the mistake of scolding an elder was made. When the intellect is clouded, it leads to bewilderment of memory. The person then forgets what is right and what is wrong, and then flows along with the surge of emotions. The downward descent continues from there, and the bewilderment of memory results in destruction of the intellect. And since the intellect is the internal guide, when it gets destroyed, one is ruined. In this manner, the path of descent from divinity to impiety has been described, beginning with contemplation on the sense objects to the destruction of the intellect.
Nikhil, so any thoughts on what we read just now?
Yes, I think that anger makes us forget what is right and wrong, and we can often take wrong actions because we lose judgment.
Very true. So there is a short video on anger by Swamiji that illustrates this very point. Let's quickly take a look at that.
Anger is such a thing. We become angry on somebody else, but the anger resides in our heart. It burns the heart. It blackens out the heart and burns the blood as well. There was one man, he was fixing his punctured tire, and his 3-year-old son took a stone and was scratching something on the other side of the car. The father had not learned how to control anger. He saw his son, he got so annoyed. He took the spanner and started hitting his son's hand. He beat the fingers so much, they got bruised badly. The child had to be taken to hospital. The doctor saw and he said, "There's only one solution. I need to remove 3 fingers. 3 fingers were removed. When the son came out of surgery, he said, "Father, when will my fingers grow back?" The father was disgusted at his anger. What did I do? He cried. He went to the car and he kicked the car. And there he saw what his son had been writing with the stone. His son had been writing, "Father, I love you." But such is the nature of anger. Anger makes a human being into an animal. And it's a reality, it's residing inside us. Some people hide it very deep. There was a sadhu living in a hut, and somebody came to him and said, "Babaji, do you have light in your hut?" He said, "I don't." The man went. He came back after half an hour. "Babaji, I was asking you, do you have light in your hut?" He said, "Arey bhai, I told you I don't." He went off and came back after 5 minutes. "Babaji, I was asking you, I need light. Don't you have it in your hut?" He said, "I told you I don't have light. Why are you troubling me?" The man said, "Babaji, the light was there, but it took a little effort to get it out." The fire was there, but you had hidden it deep. So, if somebody can not just hide it deep, but extract it and throw it away, Sri Krishna says that person is the yogi. When Alexander came to India, conquering, he reached India. There, he met some yogis. So he asked his people, I've heard of the Indian yogis. I want to take some with me to Greece. So his soldiers told him there are some yogis sitting there. He went to meet the yogis. So when he reached there, the yogi was sitting casually. Alexander thought he should be respected, but the yogi showed no external respect for Alexander the Great. So Alexander said, you don't know how to behave. Don't you know who I am? I will teach you such a lesson you will remember all your life. So the yogi responded, he said, I know who you are. Alexander said, who? You are a slave of my slave. Alexander said, what do you mean slave of your slave? The yogi said, anger is my slave. You are a slave of anger. So you are a slave of my slave. Sri Krishna says, if you can make anger and desire your slave, then you are truly happy.
Many people realize that anger is bad and they regret it later. So why are they not able to control it?
That's a very good question. Actually, Swamiji answered this question in one of his lectures. Let's hear it from him, actually.
What we do in special situations is determined by what we do in ordinary situations. You know, this is the principle. You say, this person got this special chance and he made it. Why? Because he had practiced for it all the while. And hence, in the special situation, he could bring the proper attitude to bear. So similarly, if you say, I wish to control my anger in this situation, but before that you have to practice it all the while. What you do in the mundane, that determines what you will do on the special occasion. So, to cure anger, we need to work upon ourselves. Anger is not the disease. Anger is the symptom. And the disease is our wants. Two kinds of wants, hankering and aversion. This should happen, this should not happen. If it does not happen, I become angry. If it happens, I become angry. So hankering and aversion is the cause of anger. If we wish to decrease our anger, we have to decrease our hankering and aversion. Alright? So the principle here is like this. You replace the worldly desire by the desire for God. The more the desire for God increases, the more your worldly contentment increases. It is all right, never mind. He doesn't listen, never mind. You know, that kind of contentment will come in. So the more we decide that my real treasure is the divine treasure, the more we will become contented in our lot. We will not be upset. That is the deeper way to control anger. Of course, there are symptomatic ways. People say when you become angry, you count to 20. You fill your cheeks with water. You know, things like that. Variety of ways, but this is the deeper way. And also anger is manifestation of tamoguna, the mode of ignorance. The more we have tamoguna in us, the more propensity for anger will be there. So we need to control the tamoguna mode of ignorance in our diet, in our habits. Somebody said, Swamiji, I get very angry. I said, do you eat a lot of chilies? Yes. Okay, reduce your chilies. That I cannot do. Then you cannot control anger also. So the tamasic food will have a tamasic impact. In other words, you have to make your personality with the help of the disciplines and abstinence that Maharishi Patanjali is saying, reduce the impact of rajas and tamas, and they go more into the sattva, the mode of goodness. Then you will find you get a better handle over anger.
I personally really liked the lectures from Swamiji. So from our discussions, I was able to understand that I become angry when my desire is not fulfilled. And if I want to not get angry, I should not have any desires. But how can I function in the world or work towards my goal if I don't have any desire and only think of God? How will I do my duties?
That is a very good question, Nikhil, that you asked. And actually, this question's answer will be covered in tomorrow's session in the Gita Festival. So if you're interested in knowing the answer for this, do attend the Gita Festival sessions. And that will tell you how to apply the teachings of Gita in everyday life. And with that, we conclude our Bhagavad Gita study circle for today. Thank you, everybody. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Thank you.
Radhe Radhe, welcome back. That was a great talk, Pritha. Thank you so much. Kavita, I think after listening to that talk, my mind is afraid of me. As I've got some new information to manage it. So, definitely my mind is like, it's crouching in a corner. So, if you guys think the same, and if you think that you have learned some tips, so please write, please share in the comment section. I can. At least we know that you're replying to this. That yes, you have learned too.
Yes.
And Kavita, my tamed mind wants to share something. Can I share, please?
Yep.
Okay. So it says, this is from Bhagavad Gita actually. It is very much related to the topic that we heard.
Okay.
Delusion arises from anger. The mind is bewildered by delusion. Reasoning is destroyed when the mind is bewildered. One falls down when reasoning is destroyed. So I felt, this is just apt. So I wanted to share it. Doesn't it make sense?
It does, Nidhi, it does. And one of the benefits that I see from having these sessions or being a host for these sessions, I feel that everybody is learning something from the other person. Like you shared this lovely quote from Bhagavad Gita, and it totally makes sense with the way we deal so many things in our day-to-day life, right? So our mind is always kind of in delusion.
No,
So
Kavita, that's why, whenever you are angry, I think you should never believe your thoughts. If you're angry, so that causes delusion. So it does everything. And in delusion, no decision. Don't make any decision. That's what I feel this has taught me, just by reading these 4 lines. So you have to, I think, give a gap or something, and automatically right things come up from within.
Right. Nidhi, this gives me an idea of what should be our next festival. We should have applied knowledge. We should have applied knowledge sessions, because when you read out this quote, it actually took me back to a time how I took some decisions which really went wrong in my life. And it will be great to hear that from the audience as well. So please type in the comments section anything which has made a difference in your life. So we would love to hear this.
So, Kavita, I would want to know, do you know what's for the topic, the next,
the agenda for tomorrow, Nidhi ji? So the agenda for tomorrow will be, we will continue the recitation and we will continue the understanding and the meanings of the verses. Then there will be a special session that will be our talk of the day by our JK Yoga Academy speaker Aditya ji, and the topic there will be Science of Work from the Gita, Karma Yoga.
Oh, you know, Kavita, Karma Yoga, Swamiji had also given a lot of importance to this topic. So I feel this will be really, really great talk, and I'm going to bring my journal and pen, just to note down some very, very important insights. So definitely, it's a great, great topic.
Yes, so that is it for today. We will all meet tomorrow. Stay safe, take enough rest, and come fresh tomorrow to absorb more teachings from Gita.
Yes.
Do not invite all your friends and family. There are only 3 more days left. March 20.
Days are passing by so fast, Kavita. Oh my God. I can't believe it.
We will have our award ceremony on Sunday, March 21st. And then the most interesting thing will be an exclusive interaction of Swamiji with our guest speaker. Who will that be?
Who will that be? Tell us, Kavita. Are we going to disclose the secret now?
No, Nidhi. Let them come. Let them come back tomorrow. Let's see if we want to disclose that. But thank you all for attending these sessions with us. We look forward to meeting you again on day 4 of International Gita Festival.
Thank you so much. It was fun. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you.